All right, thank you, Mike, and good evening or good afternoon. So this is going to be mostly the session close to the end of the SKS 2019. So my name is Hiro. So I'm a director of SIGMAXYZ and then also the Smart Kitchen Summit Japan founder. So it's a kickoff. So I'd like to talk about what is actually happening in Japan. So Mike mentioned that amazing food tech market, but I would like to talk more than amazing. So I want to excite you and why. So I joined SIGMAXYZ 2.5 years ago, and then since then, so I have been doing SKS together with Mike, and then 3 years consecutively. So previously I worked for Panasonic and then McKinsey, and then my passion is how tech can connect with application, which is food. So before jumping into the contents, let me talk about what is we are doing. So our aspiration is not just doing the conference, but also we aspire to create a food innovation ecosystem. So we do SKS as a conference once a year, and also we organize an on and offline community, as well as insight creation and creation. And also recently we start business matching program to the large corporation. And then the insight, so we actually make public and share. So for example, over the last 2 years, so actually we published a book called Food Tech Future of Food Tech together with Nikkei. And also we do some presentation at a major conference in Japan. And also our team member write serious articles on food tech to ignite the market. Then by doing that, so we are now building a great connection with Japanese players. So from large players to ventures, and then also professionals or experts or other communities, while providing a consulting service to large corporations. But at the same time, we are start connecting very deeply with global players to create an ecosystem to make a food innovation happen or accelerate going forward. So as you see, unique food innovation community beyond industries and borders are forming from Japan. As you can see in this picture, so people start connecting. And also, as you can see, so this year, so it seems that we have probably 40 or 50 Japanese players. 4 years ago, when I first came to the SKS, there were only 4 people from us, no speakers, no participants. But now we are so pleased to have so many Japanese players at SKS here in Seattle. And then now SKS Japan is becoming a leading food tech conference. And then this is really thanks to Mike and then Chris and then Catherine, the Spoon team. And then also like our team members, Akiko and Hitoshi is here. He's a co-founder of SKS Japan. So without their support, so SKS Japan could not have been such a huge success so far. But anyway, so seeing the believing, so please take a look at the short video of SKS J 2019.
いろんなカンファレンス出た中でも、一番笑顔が多い感じがしますね。
ますます食の未来が楽しくなりそうな感じになってきたのが非常に楽しいサミットでした。
みんなで実現していこうっていう強い気持ちを感じました。
場を作るっていうことの可能性みたいなのをすごい感じて、面白いものを一緒に作っていけたらなっていうふうに思いました。
we're going to continue to see the conversation grow. I think we're going to see more constituencies and more people from the value chain brought into the conversation. And just I think we'll see more collaborations.
人と人とがつながって新しい未来を作り出していくという感じが本当にいいですね。
ここであったパートナーシップで新規に事業が始まったっていうそういう実例がきっと出てくると思います。
東京が日本が世界のムーブメントの発信地になればいいなと思います。
Actually, I think that there's a lot of value that still needs to be unleashed from this country. So go on, SKS Japan. This is just the beginning.
Okay, thank you. As in a video, you saw in the video, so we have a vision. So this is not only about science and tech, but also we actually want to talk about well-being as well as the culture. So we believe food tech is not just a trend, it's more like an essential momentum to make this world better. This is our philosophy. And then also at the conference, so we proposed a future food vision. This is not a forecast. So as we do the consultation to the large corporation, many companies ask us, what is the future or a forecast? How do you foresee the future of food tech? So actually we don't have an answer. But there is a way we see the future. This is to invent it. So therefore, in that sense, this is not the answer. This is more like a way of looking the future. So we propose 12 future food vision. So that people can pursue around this vision. So at the end of this presentation, let me talk about what is happening in Japan. So number one is big players are moving in and showing strong interest in food tech. As you can see here, so Panasonic, Sharp, and Sony, and Nichire, and Nissin. So all these manufacturers, food manufacturer, appliance companies, or device company stepping into this food innovation space. And then also retailers or companies who has a direct touch point with consumers. Like USMH Holding is one of the largest retail supermarket chain in Japan. And the Royal Holding is a restaurant chain. JR is a railway company. And then also Cookpad, so recipe leading players stepping into the device service business. And also Oishix, it's a food subscription service. It's stepping into the investment. So they announced the Future Food Fund on the day of SKS, and Oishix is today here. So most of people are actually in this conference. And this is an outlook of participants. So actually, there are so wide variety of participants from all over the industry, all industry. And then actually, more than 90 companies are from large corporation. So which shows, SKS is gaining attraction from large corporation. And the second movement is increasing presence of food tech ventures. When we take a look at the venture landscape 3 years ago, there were really limited number of ventures, about 20 or so. But now, it's not all at all, but if we name some leading players, so we have quite a lot of food tech ventures in many areas, like future food and new nutrition, new drink, new snack, and the new food value chain, food production, and food loss related services, and also restaurant tech. So because the food tech venture is so happening, so we actually organized one conference which is called Food Tech Venture Day. So this June. So we invited 10 ventures and 10 participants where we discussed how future food look like, which was a great success. And then at the day, so we announced a food innovation map, which describes what is the user experience look like of food and what kind of technology could support these experiences. So actually we played a little bit around. So we mapped out some ventures here, and it was really interesting that some overlaps, but some differentiation. So actually our vision is, so we fill out this map with number of not only ventures, but also entrepreneurs. So actually we want to invite all of you here, not only from Japan, all over the world, to create this map together. at the last of this presentation, so I want to highlight also accelerating collaboration beyond industries and borders. So after our session, so there is one presentation from Space Food X. Actually, this initiative is composed of 50 companies, so which actually quite unique. So previously, Japanese companies are doing this business by themselves. But now, more than like 10 or 30 or 50 companies doing together to achieve new food experience. Like Space Food X, and also Sushi Singularity is a 3D printed food to personalize nutrition and taste. So they are now planning to open a restaurant 2020. And also there is one space called Tokyo Food Lab in Nipponbashi. And also, I cannot mention here specifically, but several lab-grown meat initiative is happening in Japan. And then also, Japan is becoming a hub for Asian food innovation. So this is the number of speakers from overseas. So actually 33% were from global players. And then, so this year we had more Asian presenters than last year. So we hope that Japan could become the sort of the hub for food innovation in Asia. So now it's time for you to feel the cutting-edge innovation from Japan. So after myself, so there are 4 presentations. So starting from Shun Hashimoto, he's a base food company. He was actually at the Future Food finalist, and then followed by Michael Spranger from SONY. He is talking about creativity augmented by AI and robotics. And then food tech to solve social issues. So Masa Fukata from Panasonic, Game Changer Catapult, is going to talk about appliance 3.0, impact from Japan, proactively facing social issues. And then closed by Shinjiro Yamada. He's a founder and then chairman of PLANTX. So he's talking about vertical farming 3.0 from Japan, era of plantry. So now I want to pass the mic to Shun, and then please enjoy the Japan session in the next 40 minutes. Great. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Shun, the founder and CEO of Base Food. At Base Food, our mission is to reimagine the ingredients in staple foods. We believe a healthy and sustainable lifestyle can be accessible to all. Humans have eaten staple foods often because these are delicious, easy, reasonable, and cultural. But recently, it is said that only eating carbs is not good for your health. So, Base Food makes staple foods much healthier. While keeping its advantage points. So we make delicious, easy, healthy, reasonable, cultural staple foods. Base noodles is the world's first nutritionally balanced staple foods. One serving of base noodles includes 29 grams of protein, 8 grams of fiber, and 1/3 your recommended daily values of 25 essential vitamins and minerals. To achieve this, base noodle is made with over 10 nutrient-rich ingredients, including brown rice, seaweed, and flaxseed oil. Certainly, base noodles is nutritious, but it is also important for me to retain delicious and convenient, which have made noodles loved for centuries. I worked with chefs to ensure our noodles are gourmet. Unlike other nutritionally balanced foods, base noodles have been served at some of the top world restaurants. Base noodles cook quickly, takes only 2 minutes to prepare, and pairs well with a variety of sauces, including marinara sauce, garlic, and olive oil. The photo on the screen is a view outside my office. Like many in this room, I was a busy working professional. There are many good restaurants, but these are expensive or time-consuming for busy working days. So I often ate pasta, ramen, or burgers, and other staple foods. And then my health became worse gradually. So I think, what if there was a food product that was rich in nutrients, flavorful, and easy to prepare? Base noodles are simply delicious. They are gourmet. This photo is Ramen Nagi. This is a very famous ramen restaurant. They have many restaurants in global and very famous in Tokyo, of course. And they have a ramen restaurant in Palo Alto and San Jose. They make a long line. It takes 3 hours or 4 hours to enter in the ramen restaurant. So Ramen Nagi also use base noodles. Maintaining a balanced diet is important for good health. So we sell base noodles as subscription. So we deliver base noodles every month to customers' home directly. So our customers don't have to go to grocery store when they are busy, but they want to eat healthy foods. So base food was founded in Japan and expanded to the United States. I founded the base food February 2017, and now we have 15 employees. And this September, last September, we released base noodles. This is a beginning, and Michael is the leader of US team. Hi, Michael. Yeah. And we have 3 American employees. This is a track record in Japan. More than 500K base food packages have been delivered in the last 2 years. So we launched February 2017, and only 2 years we sell such number, and number is growing rapidly. And we have many media coverage in Japan. Our vision: reinvent staple foods so that healthy and sustainable lifestyle can be accessible to all. And our unique products, the world's first nutritionally balanced noodles, gained attention from the press. This photo, Forbes, is one example. The last month, Forbes reported base noodles, base food. And Lifehacker, TechCrunch, Wired Japan also reported us. So I want to introduce how to marketing in Japan. So we are focusing on what traditional big company doesn't do. For example, we collaborate with famous restaurants. So we collaborated with Ramen Nagi, for example, and famous TV program, Gai and Uwake, which is most famous TV program, most famous business documentary TV program. So our strategy is at first collaborating with a restaurant, and then media, press, reported us. And we are communicating with our subscribers very often. So we engage our subscribers, and our subscribers recommended base noodles to their friends. And marketing in the United States is only beginning, so we are considering. So I want to hear your ideas But I believe base noodle is the healthiest option in the noodles because base noodle is the world's first nutritionally balanced noodles. So I believe base noodles is the best noodles to promote office workers' well-being in a simple way. If a company served salad or other healthy food, but some people want to eat noodles or other staple foods, so at that time, I want you to serve base noodles. If office workers know base noodles in the cafeteria, some of them will buy base food in our website to use in their office, in their home. At this era, now, animal meat is being replaced with plant-based meats because plant-based meat is healthy and sustainable and delicious. Base food replaces high-carb staple foods with nutritionally balanced staple foods. Because nutritionally balanced staple foods are healthier, sustainable, and delicious. Base foods is sustainable because the ingredients are less burdensome to the environment. Because base noodles is made with beans, whole grains, and so on. So if you eat less meat or fish, you can get balanced nutrition by eating nutritionally balanced staple foods. And the market of staple foods is even bigger than the meats. So in conclusion, base noodles is the base food's first product that can make healthy and sustainable lifestyle accessible. This is please keep in touch with us. This is a QR code for our website. We began selling base noodles last September, so this is the only beginning. So I would like you to try it. So now we are giving a coupon code, so limited coupon code for SKS. So you can use this coupon code in our website. And this is only the beginning, so we have a few contents in Instagram and Facebook, but if you follow Facebook and Instagram, I'm so glad. So I will keep appreciating pioneer users in the US. Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Hello. So my name is Michael Spranger. I work for Sony, and I'm based in Tokyo, Japan. And I'll talk about some of the things that we're doing in Sony, which is a very big company, so there's many things going on in the area of food and technology. And in some sense, this is a kind of a new space for Sony, but in another sense, it's not. So actually, the founders of Sony, you see on the left here, the first product they developed, which is actually before they founded the company, was a rice cooker. Okay, so and in some sense, coming back to the food domain is kind of going back to our roots. And there's another kind of interesting twist here, which is that this is a Sony building that doesn't exist anymore, that is in a very central part of Tokyo, in Ginza, actually. And when that building was opened, it was recently torn down, but when that building was opened, actually we had a restaurant there, which is, maybe you know, Maxime de Paris, which is a very famous restaurant in France, used to be very good. And actually, that restaurant was in the Sony building in Ginza, and essentially it was one of the first full-scale French restaurants in Japan. And so there's some relationship, some history that Sony has in the food industry or in relation to food, and we're sort of essentially trying to pick that up again and developing kind of new approaches. Now, I should say that before I get into the creativity and human augmentation part, I want to talk a little bit about projects that we do in the realm of dealing with social problems related to the food industry. In particularly, I want to sort of highlight three sustainable development goals from the United Nations here, which are zero hunger, decent work and economic growth, as well as responsible consumption and production. And just to highlight very briefly 2 projects that we're doing in the fundamental research laboratories of Sony, which are called actually Sony Computer Science Laboratories. These are 2 really interesting projects, I think. On the left side, you see Synecoculture, which is a farming project, so kind of a new method for farming, which is trying to move from these kind of monocultures that we see all over the world to what we actually call megadiversity farming, where you have many different plants, many different crops in the same area, and you use AI technology to kind of organize and categorize and help you maintain those farms that have sort of megadiversity. And on the right side, you see another project which we're doing, which is related to microfarming. That this project is run in Paris, where we are building robots that help people better maintain the microfarms that they might have on their rooftops or on their balconies, and so on and so forth. Now, at the core of Sony, actually, Sony at the core is really a creative entertainment company. And so some of the big business areas that we have are movie, music, and gaming, where obviously it's all about entertaining people, giving them a nice experiences, audiovisual experiences, interactive experiences. And many times in these areas, Sony will have basically business across the value chain. So from producing the professional equipment all the way to the distribution networks, and in some cases, like in movie and music, also, for instance, artist management, all the way to the things that you might install in your home, like PlayStation or TVs or audio equipment for listening to audio. And actually what we're trying to do now is basically establish gastronomy and food as one of the new entertainment areas, one of the big entertainment areas of Sony. So Sony is actually here in this space essentially to stay for a very long time. We'll be with this community, trying to work with this community on developing this. And I think of course, we hear a lot, and especially a conference like this, about convenience or things like that. But I think that one of the things that maybe we can add as a company from our perspective is really trying to bring out some of the creative aspects and some of the entertainment aspects that we would like to see in food development. And I'll show a concept video that we recently produced that's showing some of the robotic vision that we have in this space. So kind of 2 parts to this. One is a kind of independent living scenario here.
There'll be 2 more guests joining our party. Okay?
Where the focus is really on collaborative, autonomous cooking.
So, keep cutting like this.
So the idea is that actually the person starts showing the robot something, and the robots immediately pick up what they have to do and kind of continue on the work that maybe the human doesn't want to do in this particular situation. We're interested in developing new tools, new ways of interacting. One of the key aspects really of this is that it's collaborative. So it's not about replacing people, it's about working together with people and helping them achieve the kinds of goals that they have. For instance, preparing nice meals, preparing nice family experiences. And if you watch this movie, it's actually on YouTube. If you're really interested, you can see that on YouTube. There are many parts of the strategy that we have developed internally for how we would go about developing products in the food space. Really all focusing on trying to bring an experience to people and involving people in that experience, right? So creative entertainment. The second part of the video is focusing on essentially what is an autonomous kitchen, but it's showing the part of the vision that we have for maybe delivering very high-end experiences using robotics and artificial intelligence.
recommendation. He's doing how we cook it.
One thing to stress here is that one thing we're really interested in is also really developing new tools based on our experience of just developing hardware and technology. There's also a personalization aspect here. So,
do you care for any more?
Yes, thank you. As you noticed, maybe in the beginning they were recognized and food is prepared to things that they might like actually. So that's something also that's being discussed at this conference a lot, of course. And actually the flower here is basically based on the dress that a woman is wearing. Okay, so let me highlight a few things from the video that we think are important. First of all, most of the systems that we are interested in is actually about augmenting humans and helping them create the experiences that they want for others in an interactive kind of way. We can think about a lot of new tools that we can actually deploy once we have robots in the home and basically giving people also new ways of expressing themselves in this cooking domain. But I should say that's actually much more. So the vision that we have is much broader, and I'm going to kind of use an analogy here to music, which is a space that we've been extremely active in as a company. So if you think about creativity in the music space, you can think about essentially, of course, on the level of musicians, there are interesting aspects where you can do innovation on the level of techniques. So we have actually sort of built systems based on AI actually that are new instruments essentially. And in the space of cooking, this might mean, robotic manipulation, but also new end effectors and things like that. But there's a second part of this which Sony is really interested in, which is kind of the creativity part. So in music, this would be, creating songs and lyrics, new songs and new lyrics. And in the food space, we are actually running projects that are trying to create new recipes. And again, this is not automatic or not autonomous or not purely autonomous, but the idea is actually to build systems that are interacting with humans in a kind of dialogue where new recipes are created essentially together. And so our vision is really that artists are augmented by artificial intelligence and robotics and not replaced. Here's an example of something that we're recently doing in the lab. This is R&D. So on the left side, you see a human demonstrating plating skills. And actually, we're using sort of technology to capture how people are doing these plating skills. And learning from these plating skills, actually, we can learn individual skills. So that's what's happening on the right side, where you see the robot actually has, based on the trajectory he's seeing from the human demonstration, he's actually learning individual skills in sort of this set of plating skills that are maybe potentially necessary. And once this is done, we can then transfer this and have the robot actually create complete plates just by looking at single demonstrations. Once sort of the individual components have been learned, once the individual skills are there, you can essentially show a plate to the robot, and he can understand which of the skills he has to use in order to build that plate, and then basically can repeat that. And so once you've created a plate as a creator, maybe you don't want to create that plate over and over again, but you can just show it to the robot, and then the robot can sort of execute that automatically over time. And here's some basically two examples from that we recently developed in research. Okay, let me stop, or let me kind of conclude by alluding to a point that Hiro made a little bit earlier, is that in many ways the food space is a way for Japanese companies to innovate on the level of technology, but it's also a way to innovate in terms of how we actually do business. And also for Sony, this is an experience that we're having here where we're really trying to actually run these projects in a very different way than we might have done 10 or 20 years ago. for instance, in the food space, we're having an immediate strategy where we are, on the one hand, doing open innovation with universities. So this is a collaboration, it's a project we're having with Carnegie Mellon Institute of Robotics, which is one of the top robotics institutes in the world, where we are basically funding research that is looking at the restaurant domain. So from order taking to cooking according to the recipe to delivery and cleanup. And on the left bottom, you see kind of a video that was done by Oliver Krömer, who's a professor at Carnegie Mellon, who's kind of focusing on learning particular cooking skills, in this case, not plating skills, but skills related to cutting, all sorts of different types of food. But we're also working with other professors in the machine learning area, machine learning domain, and also in human-robot interaction domain. And this is really interesting for us because it's kind of a very different type of project that we would run before. We're doing kind of the collaboration with universities. We're also looking at funding for startups. So we have Sony Innovation Fund, which is very active and actively funding and actively searching out food startups in order to grow the ecosystem. And then lastly, also we do R&D, and I showed some of this in this presentation. So if you're interested in any of this, please come. Well, I'm still around. We're still around, so please talk to us just after this talk. Thank you so much.
Hi, everyone. My name is Masa Fukata from Panasonic. So I'm leading a group called Game Changer Catapult. Okay, I'd like to explain today about the appliance 3.0. Okay. So my name is Masa. And I was involved in the Olympic project before in the past, and then I was in Canada and came back to Japan. And in Japan, I found that it's not so many things to sell right now in the consumer electronics. So we founded the group called Game Changer Catapult to accelerate the innovation within the corporation. Okay. So as everybody knows that the world is changing. Consumers, products, manufacturing, distributions, all changing. So ownership to the experiences, smart products, the service value, direct to consumers, platformers, SDGs, shared values, ESGs. So everything like we talk about the food, around the food is changing. So the global business environment is changing too. So we really have to change. SDGs, of course. So the changes we think, like we had major changes, like 3 major changes in the past, especially in the 20th century. So first of all, the electricity. So we actually revolutionized the home appliance from fire, all those things to the electric heater. And then, magnetron and IC, LSI, so that's electronics. And the third one, information and internet is coming right now. So we liberate, the people from unsafe conditions and poverty. And then 60s, 70s, we try to avoid the repetitive routine work. So what's happening right now? So that's something that we'd like to talk today. And then I try to define that's appliance 1.0, 2.0, 3.0. So Game Changer Catapult, what it is. So that's our in-house innovation accelerator. So we are trying to create and accelerate the new businesses and the values. Okay. So our mission is to create home appliances of the future. This home appliances doesn't necessarily mean only B2C, but B2B, B2B2C, and C2C, or anything, including the contents and also the service industry. So in order to make those new businesses, we really need to stage co-creation opportunity with people inside and inside and outside Panasonic, and also to explore new style of manufacturers to deliver service values too. So this is a vision, beyond manufacturing, not only to the manufacture of the products, but also to create the new value through the co-working. With the people outside Panasonic. So here, we also like to emphasize the values of a social issue, try to solve the social issues, try to make more engagement with the people, and also to try to get the empathy around the world. That's very important. Okay, so innovation. So when it comes to the innovation, we really require the new combination. Probably it's a combination between a combination with existing things. So this is Dr. Schumpeter. This is all the innovation theory. That's something that we, the Game Changer Catapult, a small group within a corporation, try to do. So we are really good at making the innovation with existing values. So for example, Indian curry and Japanese rice, what do you think? That's curry rice, right? Okay. So the Chinese noodle and Japanese soup, it's ramen. So we also make onigiri rice balls and robotics. So we invented something called the Oni Robo. And then dishware and video. So we invented something called the dish canvas. I like to explain a little bit more about this. So Game Changer Catapult. Okay, I'd like to show some videos, about what we are trying to do. Maybe the video is too quick, right? I'd like to explain a little bit more about what we are doing in Game Changer Catapult. So we founded Game Changer Catapult in 2016. So last 3 years, we have more than 120 ideas pitched in from our internal people, like employees. So most of the employees, young and old, pitching in their ideas to solve the social issues. So, and then we pick, 6 or 5 ideas, and then we incubate some of the ideas, and then we try to showcase those ideas in the events like South by Southwest or / Tokyo, even before we make decision to go on to the market. So, for example, in 2016, we have the idea with sake cooler, and we have ideas of calorie checker, just looking at the shape of the food. 2017, we have the toothbrush for pets. So it's lots of different ideas. In 2018, we have Kajutron, as you saw in the video. It's the idea to transform the homework, housework into the exercises, especially to solve the issues with senior people. Okay, so we pick the ideas and then explain a little bit. So, for example, Totte Meal, it's a lunch support solution with a meal logs. So there are lots of high-rise buildings in the city, urban area, and there are so many people they cannot really eat lunch because elevators you have a lot of lineup before. So when you have a 60 minutes lunch break, but actually you have to line up the for the elevators 10 minutes or 15 minutes to go down and come back 15 minutes again. So we really no time to enough time to have lunch. So we try to have this, the business called the Okiben. The lunch, it's delivery to the office. but we don't really make lunch as a Panasonic. So we have a partnership with the small, the food service company, and we actually provide the QR code, and solution for, payment, right? And the smartphone payment system. So in this way, like we also we provide the payment solution, but also you can have the lunch log, who eat what at which time, and then like we can recommend adequate the food menus to those people who are in the office. Okay, and we are currently running a business at limited locations in Japan. So Oni Robot, as I mentioned, it's a homemade style gourmet onigiri rice bowl robot. So we also running the business as a pop-up store at limited locations in Japan, and we also did the POCs in Bangkok earlier this year. So it's a homemade style, the onigiri. It's very much different from like a low price, convenience stores onigiri rice bowl. So it's more like the onigiri made by human being. Especially like this idea was, came from, our employees, actually the engineers of a rice cooker, who happen to be a female. So that we call it rice ladies internally. So she has a passion to expand the rice business outside Japan. But outside Japan, there are not so many ways to enjoy rice. So her idea is to create a rice bowl business, but not so many people are good at making onigiri rice bowls by hand outside Japan. So we created the idea with machines, robotics. But this one also it happened to be just robots, but actually we are providing a new solution for the small scale. The restaurant business, who maybe suffer getting the enough, workforce, and as well as the workforce issues. Also, we try to solve try to provide a new style of, restaurant, which you don't really need to, have people to take in orders. So it's more like a lacking coffee type of business. We can order onigiri through the application that's, the apps in smartphones. So those are the ideas. And the dish campus, in the video, it's a little bit short segment. It's a smart dish for superior expression in a culinary art. So that the dish actually has LED screens, so that you can also decorate and their food with video images. So this one also have a lot of inquiry from some creative video companies, as well as the hotel and the hospitality businesses too. So we are currently looking for POC partners with these business ideas. So during last 3 years, we learned, the three things which are very important for making new business in the food tech area. So number one is social. We have to think about the social issues. The second one is engagement. We try to strengthen the engagement with the people. And then empathy. We need to really get the empathy through the businesses. We are not just making money. So we are trying to make try to get the empathy in order to solve social issues. Also, we founded a company called BH, just outside Panasonic, to avoid slow decision-making process in a big corporation, as probably everybody faces. So we have a joint venture to accelerate innovation with ideas, technology from Panasonic inside and outside. So this company is to invest money into our new ideas, which come from Game Changer Catapult. Okay, the left-hand side, the Catapult, has a lot of new ideas. Some of the ideas, incubated the businesses within the corporation Panasonic, but some of them should be carved out. And outside, we have a joint venture called BH, which was invested from a joint venture capital in U.S. Scrum Ventures, and also there's a government-related fund, the INCJ, and Panasonic has a minority stake in this company. So we can also incubate the business under BH, and then we can also, scale the business under BH. Okay, this way probably we can accelerate the incubation, the processes, without having the trap, of big corporations. So we founded 2 companies with this scheme. So the first company is called the Mitsubachi Products. So this company produces Infinimix hot chocolate machines. We use the Panasonic technologies of espresso machine, but we don't really know how big, how large the hot chocolate market. So this company is actually doing the businesses without Panasonic brand now. Okay. And this lady is Panasonic employee, but she is actually taking a leave of absence. So no income from Panasonic. And then she is actually running the business as a CEO of this company. And the second company is called Gifmo, and to produce a daily software. Daily software is a game changer catapult ideas to solve the senior people's issues who has difficulties in swallowing, called the dysphagia. So people who has an issue with swallowing, then we really need to get the soften the food. So this machine will, make the food softer, which was cooked by the family members, so they can enjoy the same food they eat, with the family members. So this chart again. So appliance 3.0, what is this, meaning in this world? Okay, so that we believe that's we are trying to liberate people from remaining social issues with appliance 3.0. So I believe in appliance 3.0 is to provide solution for social issue with technology. It's not only making money as a business, or it's not only just providing technology. We really have to provide solution for social issues with technologies. Okay, this is a game changer catapult. This is a small group within corporation, but hopefully we can change the world with this the small group. Yeah, thank you very much.
Okay, I'm Yamada. I'm also 0.3. And I'm a professor of MBA, and I'm a chairman of PLANTX, it's a company. And also I'm a doctor of engineering. And I bought new blue jeans and new sneakers. So to come here, Seattle, to pretend a young entrepreneur. So, a problem of us, problem DS, is population explosion, I think. FAO said population of the Earth will be 9.8 billion in 2050. Food production must increase by 70. How do you get the 70? This is the population growth chart, 10,000 years, and it started from here. 1960-50, it's the Industrial Revolution, because of Industrial Revolution. And actually, 1950, it started the explosion. 2.5 billion came around 7 billion, just 70 years. It's a problem. And what happened? It's a green revolution. It's a seed improvement and irrigation, chemical fertilizer, and 6 times productivity growth increased. Just 50 years, okay? But water consumption of agriculture is increased. It's water shortage right now, but it's because of this. So it's a problem, both the two problems. We can't 1.7 times more cultivate land within 30 years, and we can't use 1.7 times more water. It means that we can't continue current agriculture. People will die due to food shortage or water shortage. Which SDGs is most important? I think 2 and 6. 30 days is enough to die with no food. 27 hours are enough to die with no water. And answer, plant factory. When I say plant factory, it means a vertical farming. 40 years ago, plant factory was born in Japan. This is born in Japan. Professor Kozai, he is a former president of National Chiba University. He called godfather in the plant factory industry. And I met him first. I asked him, Dr. Kozai, please teach me about the plant factory. And he said, if I teach you, what will you do for me? I think he was 73 years old, and if something happened to you, the earth lose your knowledge for 40 years. So I will download your knowledge into computer. He said, yes, okay. And I gathered young electrical and system engineers and also old Honda engine engineers, because I need all the technology of the engine. And these are first 3 books about plant factory edited by Dr. Kozai, and our members wrote some chapters as author. These are the Bible of the plant factory. Everyone knows about it. And our solution was PLANTX plant production system. It's a software and hardware. And the effect of our solution, we make cultivation land area 1 out of 2,000, and the water consumption 1 out of 3,800. But you think we cannot live only by the vegetable, but we can make a rice by the plant factory, and also any kind of grains. So I defined the vertical farming version 3. Version 1 is a hydroponic farming. It's a 90s. And version 2 is a vertical farming. It's current vertical farming. It's version 2. It's too old. Version 3 is from 2020. It's version 3. It's a plant production machine. It's machine. It's not farming. It's a production, like a mass production industry. And we have 2 technologies. It's a plant production machine, hardware, and growth management system, software. There are 3 factors in the plant factory: light, air, water, and 20 parameters, important parameters. For example, spectrum or CO2 concentration in the air, or iron concentration water, such kind of 20 important parameters there. We should be controlled. Those should be controlled individually. This individually is important. For example, air temperature 30 degrees, water temperature 15 degrees. This difference is very important. So we should control it individually. And agriculture started 10,000 years ago, but the plant has been growing in the water for only 40 years. So no one knows about what is doing in the plant, in the water. And there are the water state variables, and also the water speed also. And air state variables, and wind speed also. No one knows best combination of parameters, each parameter, 20 parameters for each plant yet. No one knows about it. And the purpose to control the parameters individually, we want to control productivity, functional nutrient, and taste. And plant production machine is hardware. Actually, these are version 2. It's a current vertical farming factory. You know very well. They cannot keep the temperature. 5-degree temperature difference between each rack because temperature is moving, air is moving. So they cannot keep it parameter correctly. I said this kind of open type factory, and our type is different. It's we closed type culture machine. Each rack is perfectly closed and sealed. This is our machine, our concept, and this is our machine. No sound. It's a farming in the rack. Oh, no sound. It's actually a sound of the 2001 space something. And there are 4 layers. And each layer is very perfectly sealed. And it's like a tissue box, 4 tissue box. And this layer is a perfectly controlled 20 parameters. So they have an engine. Each layer has engines. So I need Honda old engine engineers. And we finished only these people, designed and assembled by ourselves, like a submarine. We did not say anything about it until this August. These are 4 layers, and each like a tissue box, and each layer is sealed, and also machine itself is also sealed. And the sealed layer has light supply system, air circulation system, and water circulation system. Each parameter is controlled individually by environment control engine in each layer. So, and next is the software, growth management system. There is 5 inputs: electricity, seed, CO2, nutrient, water. These input into machine, and it grow. Natural power, it grow for 30 days to be product as output. What is happening? How those input change to output? We should know about it. And we start to learn from Dr. Kozai, Godfather. Every Saturday, 2 years, 4 hours, with no salary. From 31 to 38 years old guys with no salary during 2 years. So we learn about agriculture. We are engineers. And I have a we qualified the relation from input to output. Okay, correct. And then there is 300 grams. Each gram is a very complicated formula. 300 complicated formula change like that from input to output. And Dr. Kozai presented it in MIT seminars. It means it is only one in the world. And we implemented into cloud systems, this formula. And it means I download Dr. Kozai's knowledge into systems. So we completed plant production systems last year. And we tested it for 1 year. It's very, very good work. perfect. So, same. We can make a same. And because every position is same parameters, we can keep the same parameters. For example, this is growth curve, and we sense the growth curve, growth weight of plant every 2 minutes. We're sending data every 2 minutes, even weight also. And also photosynthetic ratio is a ratio is a speed. How much ratio is there now of photosynthetic? And also we are sensing the how much or which ion, what you say, ion, absorbing, plant is absorbing. So every 2 minutes we are sensing also. The machine can control 20 parameters individually and send the 20 parameters data to growth management system and analyze index value by formula chain and AI. And as a result, we achieved 5 times more productivity right now. This red line shows the average of Japanese plant factory average. So our productivity is 5 times more than Japanese average. But you think productivity is some kind of limitation, but productivity of plant is not limit. This is Alaskan cabbage, 57 kilograms, only Alaska. No Norway, no Finland, only Alaska happen, this can happen. So, if we can create the same Alaskan environment parameters in the culture machine, we can make this big. But we don't want this kind of big in summer. But if this possibility cabbage has, this is enough, 3 days. I want 3 days to make this one, this kind of big. And now we have started to control the function of nutrient. And this is a periwinkle plant. It's a 40 tons of periwinkle makes 1 gram vincristine. It's an anti-cancer medicine. 14 ton from 40 ton to 1 gram. But it's still more, already business. It becomes business. But Professor Kyoko Ohashi, Tamaga University, from Tamaga University, succeeded 250 times more nutrient by controlling the spectrum of LED. So we are co-working with her. And 250 times means 0.16 tons are enough to make a 1 gram by vincristine. It became to be made in Japan. Okay? So nutrient control is very important. It's not, I'm not talking about the vegetable. And this is a comparison of nutrients between outdoor and culture machine, our culture machine. Blue one is outdoor cultivation of lettuce, and the yellow bar is our culture machine. Beta carotene, for example, beta carotene 10 times more than outdoor in machine. And vitamin K is 6 times. We don't know why. Naturally, it comes, but we don't know why. But we understand. So we can control something, some parameters. We can control nutrient. So, for example, this is the biggest. This is the homepage of biggest cosmetic company. So I don't speak with them. But for example, cosmetic, they want to check the lady's skin and also DNA. And they understand which nutrient is necessary for her skin to be beautiful. Not outside, but inside. From inside, you should be beautiful. So, and also it's same as a medicine company. You cannot buy the medicine because the doctor say you are sick. Until then, but now we understand by the DNA. We understand 20 years later you will be sick or something. So you should do something. But so it's a nutrient or water you should do. Anyway. So plant factory industry is not only vegetable, but also cosmetic, pharmacy, healthcare, and it's become big. And our business model is we don't make a vegetable. We make a plant factory for customer. And we manage the plant factory by our systems. And also, we sell the parameter. Parameter means which parameter is good for this plant factory. And we sell the seed. And also, we sell the best parameters for each seed, and they download through our systems. And the layout of the plant factory. A minimum size is a 10 culture machine. Harvest weight is 1 ton per day. And if you want to make a 5 ton, you need 50 machines, okay? And this is a vertical farming version 3.0. And we have achieved for this research for 5 years. But this year, August 1st, we have come up from the, like a submarine. We come up from the water. And we are making a presentation like that. And Japan is a machine country. And in 2020, we have vegetable mass production, and 2025, create grain production systems, and 2030, grain mass production, and 2050, we will save the earth. Thank you.